Hello and welcome to the Two Robbies podcast, your destination for in-depth discussion and analysis of the Premier League and the Champions League. I'm Robbie Mustoe, he's Robbie Earle, and here are today's topics. Liverpool come from behind to hammer Rangers 7-1 thanks to a Mo Salah late hat-trick. Man City booked their place in round 16 despite a scoreless draw with Copenhagen. A preview of Sunday's big match between Liverpool and Manchester City at Anfield. Chelsea go top of Group E after a 2-0 win over 10-man AC Milan. Spurs hold on for a 3-2 victory over Frankfurt in North London. And a look at the other big stories in Europe, including the 6-goal thriller between Barcelona and Inter Milan, and what to make of Kylian Mbappe's desire to leave PSG. That's what we've got coming up in today's episode.
And Mustoe, don't forget, Premier League Pick'em is back and your chance to win $50,000. Play Premier League Pick'em for free and you can become the next big winner. Download the NBC Sports Predictor app today, available in the App Store or Google Play Store. Okay, my friend, let's start with the team that many people are talking about, many people have an opinion on. I think Didi Hamann came out and said he feels that Jurgen Klopp might not be able to get this team back on track. There might be a parting of the ways, and I know Klopp came out kind of fiery with that, but Rangers were hosting Liverpool. They lost last week 2-0 at Anfield and actually got themselves a goal up, Rob, in a hostile environment. And it was a real test for Liverpool at some point. And you'd have to say, winning the game 7-1, they came through that test, and it might just have been a result that kickstarts the season.
I think maybe. I mean, first off, the team was on paper very, very different. Opportunities for Harvey Elliott in a wide position. It was kind of 4-2-3-1, Rob. I thought Harvey Elliott on the right-hand side, but coming in very narrow, trying to find those little spaces between the lines. Likewise, on the other side, Fabio Carvalho, I think 19 years of age, two youngsters played, was on the left-hand side doing the same thing. Those two had license to come really, really narrow, which at times is going to look a little crowded. But to be fair, I thought they give Rangers a lot of problems by picking up the ball in those areas. A back four without Trent Alexander-Arnold at right back. Joe Gomez had a very, very good game there, Rob. And of course, the right side of Liverpool's back four was good to go. I mean, and again, we caveat all this, I guess, that it was Glasgow Rangers and Rangers, quality-wise are going to be a little bit short on this Liverpool side. So that was kind of the lineup. Kostas Tsimikas played again at left back. Rob, that Andy Robertson came on later on. And I got to say before we go on, I think Tsimikas is a weak link. I think Andy Robertson is really badly missed, both in possession, but more importantly, safety on the ball and his defensive strength. I looked at Tsimikas in the last few games and in this one. And I know, he's a squad player and Robertson's going to be the main man, but Robertson is really a step up in terms of that left-back position. And also, Ibrahima Konate, Rob, came back in this game. I think he came off late, but looked pretty good. Now, we know that the round of injuries, Joe Matip's out injured from the last Premier League match. I think Ibrahima Konate is the first choice. Well, all right. First choice alongside Van Dijk going forward. It's important for Liverpool, Rob, that he's back in the side. Nunes up front and Roberto Firmino, that I'm sure we're going to talk a lot about because he was brilliant, played just off of Darwin Nunes. Different looking side. Took a little bit of time to get some fluidity, but ended up being a really good night for Liverpool,
Yeah, I mean, they go a goal down and Rangers had their tail up, and I think Sakala, I think it is, on the right-hand side for Rangers up against Tsimikas. And he went on the outside of him 2 or 3 times, Rob, caused 1 or 2 problems. And I'm kind of thinking, this could be a bit tasty tonight. But they kind of dealt with it in the end by keeping good possession, by not allowing Rangers to get into ball. Obviously, the second half, they went into another gear that Rangers just can't live with. And we start to see the differences between, successful Scottish Premier League teams and successful English Premier League teams, and the quality of finishing, the quality of forward play that Liverpool had was too much, and I just felt overall, and we'll talk about Bobby Firmino, but I want to talk a little Mo Salah, Rob, actually, because 6-minute 12-second hat trick, I believe. Wow. The first one's the bendy one that we come to. The poke that we come to expect. The bendy one, and he beats a goalkeeper. McGregor, I didn't think had a particularly great game today, having played so well last time out. But I just felt, Rob, it was interesting. So Mo Salah was rested, not started, whatever. And in the main, I think that was because his form wasn't good. I don't think it was one of those where he's playing that well, or we'll rest him for Man City. I think it was almost like sit out for a moment, get your head together, and then let's kickstart again. I mean, it couldn't have worked any more perfect for Jurgen Klopp. He gets his top scorer of the last few seasons. He gets his 3 goals. He looks more like himself. His smile's back on his face. A lovely moment with Harvey Elliott before Elliott scored his goal, where he's kind of hanging on him. And I just felt, you know what, this could be exactly what Mo Salah needed, exactly what Liverpool needed to get goals. Listen, if you're not playing well as a centre forward, and your touch is off and your passing ain't great, but if you're not scoring goals, if you've lost a little bit of that eye of the tiger, the hunger to get in the box, and I just felt that's where Salah was, and today might just have kick-started him ahead of what is a huge game at Anfield at the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly what he needed, Rob, isn't it? I mean, even the first goal goes in, and it's like even his body language is like, okay, he didn't even look happy but of course by the end of it and the 3 goals go in, then he's smiling again, and maybe that's just what he needs. Absolutely right. I just think it's I guess the worrying side of it, Rob, when you think about the start, the Liverpool conceded the first goal again. Now I think there's crazy stats out there.
I think it's 11 of 13 now. I think, Rob, something's crazy.
11 of those 13 or something. Yeah,
conceded the first goal in the game, which is not great, is it? Better quality teams, you do that to Man City, you might not see the 3 points.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lovely Rangers goal, by the way, wasn't it? What a lovely goal. Scott Arfield, former Huddersfield, former Burnley midfield player. What a lovely move it was for Rangers. And then you looked at Jurgen Klopp's face, it was like, wow. That
was on them, wasn't it?
It was
and with the crowd and, in that situation. And fair play to Klopp and his team, because as he said, I just listened to his press conference just before we came on, and he talked about he was pleased with the reaction. He was pleased with the bravery. They got on the ball. I tell you, stood out for me, Robin, in a little period where it wasn't quite going for Liverpool, and it felt like it was in the balance for the first 15 or so minutes. Little Harvey Elliott, by the way, didn't have to go around and get on the ball from that wide position that he started.
And Carvalho, Rob. And Carvalho.
Yeah, I thought Carvalho. For me, I was watching Elliott particularly. I don't know, he caught my eye, but a couple of times when 1 or 2 of the other players didn't look as he went and got it, Rob, and banged it into people and had it back, and he almost felt he gave him a bit of life. I thought he was brave on the ball when Hendo and Fabinho weren't quite sort of on the game and didn't look as though they were going to do a defensive job. But I just thought, for me, I just watched Harvey Elliott, and I was really impressed with, in a period when it was really not great for Liverpool and the questions were being asked, he didn't know how to get on the ball and make the team play.
What I would add to that, Rob, is that the position in the team I liked for Harvey Elliott today. Harvey Elliott, when he plays 1 of 3, like I play the outside guy at 3-man midfield, he's, of course, great on the ball, but it is kind of in the middle of the physicality. And it is in a position where you've got to be really honest, and you've got to track back, and you've got to do the defensive side at times. This position that's further on the right, he's got 2 holding players now, so it's less important for him to be in the middle of things defensively. He'll cut back and help out because he's a midfield player that will go 2 ways, both ways. Yeah. So he'll add that, and he'll protect Joe Gomez on the right-hand side, but it also gives him the opportunity to kind of, what we used to say, Rob, cheat a little bit, where he's in between, he's in between those players. He's smart. He's difficult to pick up. And again, I thought Fabio Carvalho did exactly the same thing on the other side. Again, a good position. Now, what they don't give you from there is the width that sometimes teams need. Sometimes, not always. There's always, 4-2-3-1 in effect is wider players that are playing inside with the ability fullbacks to go forward. Joe Gomez didn't get forward so much today,
not really, no.
Apart from the lovely cross for Firmino's one of his goals. So I liked the way it took a while for it to come fluid and like, oh, that's good, and it's becoming a pain in the backside to Rangers. So I thought that was really good. But I mean, in that first period of time, the first 20 minutes or so when they went behind, there's one player that looked class, head and shoulders above everybody else, took the ball, was brilliant on the ball, and makes things happen, scores 2 goals, assists the next goal, I believe. Roberto Firmino, I thought, God, if you're Jurgen Klopp sat on the sideline, Robbie, you're 1-0 down, you're looking at this and you're seeing Firmino doing what he did in difficult circumstances where we know, for a player that's been there a long time, it's easy maybe for his head to go down. Oh, here we go again. Talk about step up and produce quality moments and linking things together, and the goals that he took, the flicked header, the lovely assist he made for Nunez's goal.
Nunez, beautiful,
I thought he stepped up in a difficult period, in a difficult match period, full stop, and gave Jurgen Klopp everything that Klopp's given back to him over many years of praising what a brilliant player Roberto Firmino was. So listen, I think last season started to get critical of Firmino. I thought he had a poor season, wasn't influencing games enough. Now, we knew that pre-season, he had a brilliant pre-season. I think he might have had some injury issues last year, all gone. I thought he was the main reason why this game went the way it did, and it helped the foundation for Mo Salah come on and get his 3 goals in 6 or 7 minutes. But Firmino, wow, I thought he was brilliant in a difficult environment.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. I wrote many similar things. I almost wrote, my headline was, when things are going wrong for Liverpool, Bobby comes good.
Yeah.
Bobby gets the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, there's times, Rob, Jota came into this football club, people maybe two years ago were going, maybe Firmino's time's come. Diaz comes into the football club, Bobby Firmino's gone. Nunez comes into the football club. I tell you what, Rob, right now, as you're talking and what he gave to the team, he'd be the first name forward on the pitch right now. 6 goals. I've just looked at his numbers before we came on. 6 goals, 3 assists in the Premier League, 2 goals, 1 assist in the Champions League. Consistency, wherever he plays, he can play up top, affect centre forwards with his movement. He can link the game from 10. He can play him wider, Rob, and like encourage people to come round him. And he's going to be safe with the ball. Rarely gives the ball away. I just thought it was magnificent tonight. It was head and shoulders above any other forward on the pitch. And you can just at times, Rob, see his football IQ, his brain's going. As the play's building up, he's not just a great technical footballer, which most Brazilians have great feet, but he thinks again. He's almost like 2 or 3 steps ahead, and it's often for teammates, not always for himself. I mean, the lovely little flick to Nunez before his goal is just Firmino, isn't it? The no-look passes, the lovely weighted balls he plays. I thought he was excellent. I couldn't agree more with you that he played a big part, and obviously will play a big part at the weekend. Is that one of them that Jurgen can hopefully build from now? Talk to his team, get them ready. Talked about today after the game that he was pleased with the reaction. Said he thought his team got on the ball, got between the lines quite well. Said when we play good football, we're a good team. Confidence is building. Concentration's building. He said, now we've got to get some consistency back to the game. That was the thing he talked about.
Yeah, I think so, mate. And I think when I look at the back four, Robertson is back.
Yeah.
Now, we'll see. He needs to play against City if he's, fitness allows. He's got some minutes there. He's got a few days now, of course, till Sunday to play that game at Anfield against Manchester City. I think right now in their situation, Joe Gomez playing right back is good for Liverpool. It's good for them. So when you think about that back four, Konate, I think Ibrahim Konate is going to be a star. You think back to the Champions League role, how good he was in that game. So I think him being back is good. Robertson, of course, is good. Gomez is good. Now, I think against Man City, I don't know whether they're going to go just the 2 men in midfield, Rob, and the 3 in the 1. Because it's Man City, you got to think it'll be a 4-5-1, extra man in midfield. But he's got options now. Elliott and Carvalho's gave him options. Of course, Salah is rested, confident. He'll certainly start on Sunday. And Diogo Jota as well. Luis Diaz, Rob, I'm not sure this happened. We didn't find out before our last podcast about the severity. I mean, they're talking about him being out
6 to 10 weeks. Although he hasn't had to have an operation, which at least sounds good, but it's 6 to 10 weeks. But after the World Cup.
Yeah, so back to Firmino, he'll play a lot more. and there'll be a float of Jota and some of these younger pros, of course, Mo Salah. So it's still, given some of the signings they've made over recent seasons, it's, there's some injuries for Liverpool, but you can still see a decent side there. After Liverpool's game against Man City, I like the look of this shape. We've said it on the last couple of shows. And always worked out, but I kind of like it. I think Henderson and Fabinho are struggling a little bit, which is a concern. Thiago came into the game again today as well. So, I think it'll be a different team against Man City. Obviously a different team, but I also think a different shape, trying to find a way to stop Man City with all those players that pull you all over in that midfield area.
Yeah, no doubt I'd be looking for a bit more midfield control, but I think with the forward line that's firing, we look back to last season. Remember that great 2-2 game at Anfield? I mean, high level, top quality. I think Salah puts a goal on the outside, and Foden got a great goal. I think it was for City on the day. But looking forward to that one. Obviously, high end, good confidence boost for Liverpool. I mean, ahead of hosting City at the weekend. Let's move it to Man City, right? Because there's not that much to talk about in Copenhagen 0, Manchester City 0. I on the team here, it was interesting. There was no Bernardo Silva, no Foden in the first team. Haaland was on the bench. A bit of what I call Pep protection, I think it seems, Robin. And I looked around a few places just to pick up from Pep. And Pep just said that he felt some of his players were a bit exhausted, fatigued. They hadn't recovered well, he said. They had a couple of recovery days and recovery hadn't gone as well. So he felt he wanted to make a few changes, rest a few. And it is this time of year, it is this period when he often does that thing, doesn't he? We've said before how he manages minutes of players. It's almost like you've played so many games, right? You're due a rest. And he's just rotating it up again. Haaland obviously didn't play in this game, no goals, but he'll be fresh and ready to go against Liverpool. So, I think it was one of those days for Pep. And on the pitch, decisions really that changed this one. The Rodri goal we'll talk about. The Mahrez penalty kick that ends up saved. The Gomez red card, which I really think we had too much to argue about.
No.
The Rodri goal, I know this one got you slightly irate with you. I saw on Twitter you came out and talked about it. So it's a Riyad Mahrez who accidentally hands the ball in the process of trying to control the ball. It gets played to another player, to Rodri, who smashes it in from 25 yards. Beautiful strike. Yeah. And then we go to VAR, and the referee decides that there's a handball in the build-up, and he's going to disallow the goal.
Yeah, I mean, first off, in terms of the rules, it wasn't one of those where it was a hand that led to a goal instantly because it went to another player. So that's out the equation. But, this was given as a normal handball, which we know the kind of the rules and stuff. It's kind of it shouldn't be. It's got to be deliberate, or your hands have got to be away from your body. Et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. I think did I say on the last podcast or the one before that I've given up on handball?
Yeah.
So again, I'd love to just paper over this and say.
Yeah. I think Pep said the same after. I don't understand the handball rule, so I can't answer questions.
I know, and that's what the guy he said. Do you understand the handball rule? He said, no, I don't.
Yeah,
and I don't as well. I mean, the ball came out of the air. He's jostling with players. And we've been there, Rob. We've jostled.
Yeah, you put your hands out.
You cannot impart any kind of physicality or strength if your arms are. You're focusing on keeping your arms by your side. It comes out the air, it hits him on the hand, and then he feeds it just to Rodri and half volleys into the top corner. Yeah. If that's a deliberate handball, I just
no, it isn't. The basic thing is, Rob, it isn't. So it's a bad error from the referee. It's a bad error from VAR.
From VAR. Yeah, and on our local broadcast in the US, the lady who's very, very good also thought it was the correct call and it was a deliberate handball. So it is subjective, and I understand that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's subjective. So I have an opinion, I guess, and other people. If that's the wording of it is a deliberate handball, then is there a lack of understanding of what's natural? Slow motion is destroying the game.
Yeah, we've got to stop slow motion in these still shots. So do do no good at all. Like, we've got to stop that.
Yeah. So
because the game's not played enough.
Yeah, I'm not going to go on another rant. I just, people know me, and I honestly, when we're in our studio this weekend, Rob, and the ball hits a hand, I don't know, because some VARs. No, this is VAR. This is with video. Yeah. This is referees with a video saying that isn't, and they're very similar.
The bigger piece, the bigger picture is, Rob, that we're denying goals. We saw him, I think it was McAllister, wasn't it, recently for Brighton? Hit one from 25, beauty. Yeah, Rodgers hit a beautiful strike, Rob. The technique and the control and the ability to do that is high end, and we're just taking those moments away because of like accidental or deliberate or whatever. It brushes somebody's hand in the action of the game. Nobody's appealing. Nobody thinks there's anything wrong. And we're taking these moments away. That's the bit to me that we've got to start addressing. What are we in this game for?
Listen, let me try and be real quick, Rob. I don't want to bore the backside of people. Back in the day, let's just quickly describe the old handball law. It was very simple. It's all about intent. Did the hand go towards the ball? Did he deliberately handle it? Does he know what he's doing when he handled it? Yeah. Or if your arm's out here really, really wide, it's handball. Yeah. Otherwise, it's fine.
The ball hits people's hands in the game.
It happens, and it was fine, and it's accepted. It's fine, but it slowly crept in. I think started off with international football. I did a ton of games, hundreds of games watching La Liga, and there it was like basically anytime the ball hits a hand, it was handball. So I'd love it to go back to how it was. I'm not sure it ever will. It's almost now, Rob. Every time the ball hits the arm, really, unless you've got him pinned to your side, it's going to be handball.
Anyway, especially if we go to VAR. But let's move on, because it was more than handballs. So a couple of decisions went. They had to go down to 10 Man City, but dealt with it. I think it was Diaz who came on.
They switched.
Kanji went as a right back. Cancelo went as a left back. Three at the back. It looked okay. Yeah. And then he had KDB, Gundogan, Alvarez, and Jack Grealish. Sometimes in a box 4, sometimes 3 underneath 1. But got the job done in the end. Copenhagen had a couple of looks. City had a couple of looks. Had more possession as you'd expect, and got the point that got them through to the qualifying group, mate. Which I think is job done. Rested a few people. Kept the freak that's Earle in Haaland nice and ready to let him go at Liverpool. So job done for Pep. Not too much more to say on that one.
No, my last thing on that, Rob, is that I actually with Man City down a man, it actually became quite a good game. It was kind of even. Like
maybe that they could be Premier League rules. Man City only have 10 players. Make it even.
It was a more competitive game. I kind of enjoyed it when them playing with 10. But no, job done absolutely right, and they have the luxury now of just. For the next rounds, a game in that competition, they can really take it easy.
Just a little thought ahead, mate. There's a few days to go, obviously, between now and Sunday, but based on what we know, what we see, these two teams have set the benchmark for Premier League football over the last 4 or 5 seasons. Pushed each other, 2 titles, Liverpool winning 1, obviously, City winning 3 recent. And does this game, does form play a part in this, Rob? Or can Liverpool at Anfield raise themselves in their game to challenge City as we've seen? The City-Liverpool games have been right on the edge. There's been not much between them over the last few years, whether they're home or away. Can Liverpool get back to that? Can one performance today, can 7 goals and a bit of confidence bring you back to that? Or is there a couple of steps that need to go?
Yeah, I think it's a cliche, Rob, isn't it? That form goes out the window. Mostly it's a cliche. It doesn't, does it? It doesn't go out the window. You've got to consider how grooved, how slick and confident and ruthless that guy up front City are. And Liverpool have had a struggle. This will help. It will help Mo Salah. What I think us and any neutrals out there will enjoy is that they're in decent shape. Luis Diaz is a big miss for Liverpool, but star players, Salahs and your Haalands have been rested. We're in for a cracker. I mean, we're going to be at the Fan Fest here in Philadelphia. It's going to be a brilliant atmosphere on that Sunday. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And I think Liverpool, again, without Trent right now, right back, makes them tougher to score against. Now whether Klopp's going to tweak that midfield to bulk it up a little bit, he should. And by the way, Rob, just thinking about it, right? Sorry, mate. I mean, Jurgen Klopp must know Pep's style now, inside and out. That club. shouldn't they be producing a game plan, a strategy to give City more trouble? And that's not just maybe because they, you know what I mean. We all know how they're going to play. We know how City are going to play with De Bruyne and
wanting to try and stop them. Yeah. I mean, we've seen deep blocks, we've seen medium blocks, we've seen try and high press, we've seen try and exploit those spaces down the side. It's
Liverpool are a good side, Rob. They've got a ton of really good players.
To be fair, Rob, in our argument, I think Liverpool have given good games of recent. Yeah. There's been a few recent games where it could easily have gone anyway and often ended in a draw. And Liverpool have played at that real high level when they are the mentality monsters, where they are playing with the intensity, where there is the Geiger press. When they lose it, they get straight back and win it quickly and put City under pressure. That's how Liverpool can affect City, playing it at a speed and a pace and intensity that almost takes City out of that methodical passing movement that they've got.
Have they got two players, right? Let's go individuals here. Have they got a player, Liverpool, that can almost go man-to-man on Kevin De Bruyne? One question for you. Second question for you. Is it time for Virgil van Dijk to show everybody what an incredible centre-back he is and be the only defender in the Premier League that stopped this guy, Erling Haaland? Because everybody else has tried really hard.
Apart from Bournemouth, give Gary O'Neill and his boys a little bit of credit. Yeah, they stopped him. But yeah, I know what you mean. Almost one of those days where Virgil goes, leave it, boys. Me and him today. I mean, we've talked about Virgil van Dijk as the Rolls Royce, as this, imperious powerhouse centre-back. No one can beat him, imperious. He's going like many in this Liverpool team through an indifferent period. It was better today. I think it looks better with Konate. I think Konate's physicality helps Virgil a little bit. Doesn't have to rely on him all the time. He doesn't always, I don't think, like being the lead centre-back who goes and attacks things. I think he's better sometimes when he reads it and uses his football brain. But yeah, I would agree with that. I think the De Bruyne one is so difficult, almost like if you're man-to-man him,
you've got to sacrifice a man. You've got to sacrifice a man.
And you're also going to get pulled in places that you don't want to be.
Okay. It's okay. Stop him. Just to stop him, Rob. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But then who is that guy? I remember back in the day when we used to play Southampton, who were, had many great players, but we used to just have a guy named Kenny Cunningham stop Matt Letizia. Yeah. That was all he had to do. We'll play 10v10 without Matt Letizia playing a part in the game. Yeah. And we used to nick 1-0s and 2-0s with them. I'm not sure. I suppose Fabinho is
stick on him. Just stick on him. Stop him playing.
What about Hendo?
I don't know whether Hendo's. I don't know whether he's fit enough, quick enough, fit enough. I think De Bruyne might get away.
De Bruyne's not. A speedster, is he? He moves well. He's not slow, but he gets around the ball. But it could be a Hendo.
Oh, listen, it's a random thought. I don't think it's going to happen, but we've seen it. I did it. I did a job on Steve McManaman when we played Liverpool in the League Cup semi-final 2 legs, and it worked. We beat him over 2 legs. We got to a League Cup final. In fact, I was so exhausted because McManaman was the fittest guy in the world, apart from being quick and skillful. I tag team with somebody else. He finished him off the last 15, 20 minutes. We got through. So, it's industrial, but it can work. Again, we probably won't see it, and it's going to be a brilliant game. Maybe Konate, Rob. Maybe Konate's physicality will match up with Erling Haaland. I'm sure our listeners and viewers are laughing because I'm sure he's going to come and score goals against Liverpool as well, maybe. But let's see what Liverpool can do against him and City. But at Anfield, why not? Why not be a brilliant atmosphere?
Let's have a go. I hope Liverpool are in good shape, taking a bit of confidence. We get another classic game. Let's move on to Chelsea, my friend, because Chelsea's been one of them clubs, and I've said it maybe a few times on our podcast, where I remember when I first finished my career and sort of got into media and TV, and I used to do a lot of games around with Chelsea, Arsenal, particularly in the London area. And Chelsea was always a football club, Rob, where there was something going on. There was gossip. There was a story. Somebody fell out. The owner's going to sack some. There was always something going on at Chelsea. And it's part of, this great club, fashionable club on the King's Road. Right now, my friend, they've got an understated, super smart, non-headline grabbing coach who might just be great for the future of what Chelsea want to do. I thought, Rob, they, over 2 legs against AC Milan, have looked composed, have looked comfortable in the football, have looked balanced with and without the ball, have a much more of a goal threat, something you've particularly talked about and we've talked about on this podcast. We've seen better, quicker combination play in that last third that's creating opportunities. And for all those out there who are saying Graham Potter's going to struggle with big name players, Graham Potter's going to struggle with Champions League football. The guy who was at, I think, Hull University 10 years ago is looking pretty comfortable in the San Siro. It's Chelsea manager on the side of the pitch, looking like James Bond, and is getting points. Well, a poor man's James Bond in his polo necks and in his blazer. And I just wanted a bit of credit to Potterball, my friend.
Yeah, of course, Rob, of course. I think I'll add to what you said about what we're seeing from Potter at the moment as well. Utilization of the squad. Something else I've just made a note of. Utilization of the squad. Getting a lot out of all of the squad, Rob. Yeah. There was definitely a sense on a Thomas Tuchel that, you know, the ones that weren't in his kind of preferred 11, 12 or 13, you know, when we saw them, it was like, oh, he hasn't quite done it. Pulisic come out, Ziyech come out. Yeah. Like now, Broja's coming in. Chilwell started this game. Yeah. You've got Chalobah's coming in.
Gallagher came on, didn't he?
Gallagher came on, looked good. Broja scored at the weekend, didn't he, for in the Premier League? Yeah. Whoever's playing in different spots, it's looking really, really good. That's something. Again, like this. Before we go on, mate, let's just go through the incident, the main incident, which was such a shame for the game, because to be fair, first 15, 20 minutes or 18 minutes this red card happened. Milan were up for it. You know, San Siro is a special
aggressive, weren't they? I thought they were going for it a little bit.
They were much better. Hammered off last time out there. They didn't really turn up. And it was tight. The game looked really good and really tight. Now, it's Figaro Tomori, of course, English the centre-back that's in and around the World Cup squad. Has gone across to AC Milan and been really good. Great reports. Okay, so I think we first of all know the rules. Like, if it's a foul and he's going to go in on goal and the player doesn't attempt to win the ball, it's just this little nuanced thing about this law, then it's going to be a red card. Correct. So where Mount was, it was always going to be a red because Tomori didn't slide in for the ball.
Yeah, he wasn't
put his foot towards the ball.
He wasn't attempting to play the ball, was he?
So that meant this
got to be a red card. Has to be a red.
If it was deemed as a foul.
And
this is subjective. And I've seen most people, including me, thought it was a foul.
It was a foul. At that moment, for me, it was a foul.
Pulling that arm once, twice.
He did it twice.
And Mount's done well to stay on his feet, Rob, by the way.
And Mount also, Rob's having to stretch through his shot because of those
because of that. Yeah.
Because of the pull. So it is a foul. And because it's a foul, it has to be a red card because he's not trying to play the ball. Yeah. What I would have liked is, in personally, was a foul and a yellow card. I felt would have been right. But by the letter of the law and the rules, the referee got it absolutely right.
Could you argue, Rob, and those that I heard saying it wasn't, that, you know, a defender has a right to, in some ways, grapple or physical attacking player as he's about to shoot a goal, and I hear that a little bit.
Yeah, I hear that, and sometimes that can be good play. Some of the best defenders sort of body you, Rob, and that. I would have almost been okay with one pull. But the second pull out of desperation because he took a bad position kind of takes me over the line a little bit.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm thinking as from a forward position, if I'm Mason Mount and I'm getting set to shoot and I get pulled once and I stay up and then I get pulled again and then I can only toe poke it. Come on, ref, that's a foul.
Yeah, it's foul. Yeah, I agree. It's such a shame. I mean, after that, I thought Mason Mount was a standout. Wow. Playing that the two behind the one, which was Aubameyang. It was Sterling and Mount. And think about that, Rob. That's kind of a nice combination of players that play in a similar little position behind a striker. One's going to dribble and he's going to run in behind. Yeah. I mean, Mount ran behind there. Mount's a bit more of a link-up guy and a bit more of a midfield general. I kind of like that balance. Jorginho and Mateo Kovacic in midfield I thought were particularly good. Reece James is a concern, Rob.
Yeah, the injury. Yeah,
an injury to him.
I don't know what if there's any news on that. It looked like a knee injury, isn't it? That they've said.
Didn't he fall awkwardly?
And looked like he hyperextended. And I mean, hopefully he's one of those guys who can bounce back from things, and he's got a good body shape. But no, it's that's probably the big disappointment from Chelsea's point of view.
And Aubameyang, my friend, another goal for him. Going about you talk about going about his business. Yeah. I mean, he's a scorer, isn't he? He's a scorer.
Yeah. And he looks like he's enjoying his football. It looks like I've read a couple of things again this week. There was a couple of articles about Mason Mount and his relationship with Potter. Potter had a one-on-one with every player, talked about what he knows of him, what he thinks of him, where he thinks he can improve them. Apparently him and Mason Mount got on really well, and Mount feels he's a bigger part of things. And it was interesting. I heard Mason Mount, I think he was doing an interview a couple of days before one of the Champions League, those Champions League magazine shows, but talked about how he feels there's a calmness with Potter, and there's a conversation. And maybe he didn't say it, but he alluded to, like with Tuchel, it's a bit demonstrative and a bit sort of confrontational. Yeah. It just looks and feels like maybe handling a few players in a different way is going to get a little bit more.
No, I think it's a good point. And I've heard other comments from other players about how impressed and how much they're enjoying the training and being around the manager. So he's had a really good start. There's a ton of games coming up. I do like the way he's switching the team around a little bit, and all those coming in seem to be fired up, motivated, and want to play, which is when you're at Chelsea and there's a big squad, you worry about it. So no, good work from Potter for Chelsea. And every chance of going through to the next round.
Just one player I need to mention, actually, maybe just before we go on. And again, I was watching him last night. Thiago Silva, by the way.
Wow.
I mean, round of applause, my friend. Round of
every
applause.
Week, isn't it? I mean, it's every week.
There was a couple of times when Milan were just trying to get ahead of steam and balls were coming across the box, Rob, and he reads where to be, and he doesn't just clear it or smash it in the road. No. He just side foots it into the left wing back, like, there you go, on you go, no problem. I've read that. He's
an incredible player. He's an incredible player.
And for Trevor Chalobah, I thought did well actually against Leal, certainly on that right hand side, and stopped his kind of threat that we saw last week. Great learning for him and for Fofana. And we talked about Fofana, the potential is there, but is he going to realise and have the mentality that Thiago Silva has? Not only a great player, but a great mentality and a great kind of, I don't know, personality. Doesn't get too up. Doesn't ever, look like he's getting letting the centre forward get on top of him. And I just thought he was excellent again. Just want to give him a.
Do you know one before we move on? One last thing. Again, back on Graham Potter. Mason Mount substituted at half-time. Yeah. He's on a yellow card. Yeah. There might be a little bit of animosity at the San Siro because he got the man sent off going through. Right. Brings on Conor Gallagher. Okay. That's another smart bit of
clever, isn't it? Yeah. And he also said he's had a few moments because I think him and Kepa are the only ones who played all the games with Potter. Right. And he just said, chance him. Give him a little rest. Well, and by the way, if you Mason Mount, you've been involved with the pen, you've assisted in the other goal, you're probably feeling pretty good about yourself. It's not one of them where you're disappointed. You know, big more games are coming up, and he's in good form, really good form.
Yeah. All right, mate. Spurs.
Yes.
3-2 against Eintracht Frankfurt. Harry Kane. No, Heung-min Son was it with 2 goals.
Heung-min Son with a brace,
Didn't see
Scored a penalty and missed a penalty. Scored a penalty and missed a penalty, Harry.
Oh, right.
She's like, I mean, he blasted one over the top in the most un-Harry-like penalty you have ever seen. Going to the goalkeepers, right? That one where he hooks it into the top corner, but he just got under the ball too much and hooked it over. Brian Hill had come on and worked a nice situation. And then they conceded the first goal. They ended up conceding a little bit late at 3-2, which just for a moment made it a little bit nervy. But I think they're always in control. And those two, again, mate, innit? It's the Son and Kane combination works out again. Sonny with a couple of lovely finishes. The volley, I don't know if you saw a volley from the Hooiberg. Wow, what a finish that is.
Beautiful control and balance, and the strike was there. What I didn't notice, Rob, again, you got always on different games going on at the same time there. I think Spurs they score goals in batches.
Yeah.
It's back. I looked at it, it's 1-0 down. Like, wow, they're 3-1 up now.
Yeah.
They score goals in batches. And I don't know what it is about that. I don't know what it is about it, but it seemed to be quite a bit where it's like ploddy. Then all of a sudden, bang, 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 goals go.
Do you think for a moment they could like let the reins off, like because Hooiberg's attacking right side puts a cross in when normally he might be sitting behind the ball. There's a little piers where they go for 5 or 10. We'll have a go, and then boom, we'll sit back in it again. Maybe that's it's a bit of switching it on and switching it off.
Do you think? I just think from the Spurs, from the Arsenal defeat, where they were super flipping sat back, and I think the games I've seen since then, they've been. It's almost like give them a bit of a shake. Give them a bit of a shake. Come on. We've got to try and play a little bit more than that. So hopefully this starts more games with goals in with Spurs, and of course they hope to get more than the opponents and they win. But that's a good win. Good win for Spurs. And
good win at home, and a tight grip that one, isn't it? I think everybody's still in running. Could still finish top.
Two more match days.
Good win. Good 3 points and 3 goals. Son and Kane, no doubt involved. Listen, mate, we'll wrap this one up. Just a couple of other notable results. I think those people were looking at the Barcelona Inter Milan game that ends up 3-3 in the end. Lewandowski getting a couple of goals for Barcelona. Inter Milan having a couple of chances late on. I think saw 1-1 with Ter Stegen and header over the top. And I think the draw just keeps Barcelona's hopes alive of making it into the last 16, which something they need obviously for the stature of the football club, but financially I think as well. It's something that's pretty desperate for them now against an Inter Milan team that went away and played pretty well. I thought. Today, probably a little unlucky not to get themselves a win.
Yeah, I mean, I tuned in live kind of later when the Liverpool game was pretty much done and dusted. And my goodness, mate, I mean, it's wildness, crazy football going on, end to end, amazing goals. Inter Milan should have killed off Barcelona. Lewandowski's header is a thing of beauty. A thing of beauty. Do you see his header? The climb, the direction, the power. I mean. That was a special header. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, this really was a group of death. That's a proper group of death. I get a bit wound up sometimes when people are trying to make groups of deaths from groups that aren't. When you got these 3 giants, European giants in a group where there's 2 go through, that's a group of death. And Barcelona, there's 2 games left. They can still do it. I mean, Inter have got to slip up against Pilsen. They're playing next, I believe, and then Bayern Munich. If they only take 1 point, Barcelona can win there too. They can do it. So it's difficult. And Barcelona, made these signings, Rob, towards the end of the window with Rafinha coming in. A few other players. Who else came in at that time? Lewandowski came in, didn't he?
Lewandowski was late,
Rafinha Marcos Alonso came in from Chelsea. They've had a bit of a rally up, spent a little bit of money. Hector Bellerin came in, a bit of a weird one, the former Arsenal fullback. But they've got these young Pedri, these midfield players as well. So they've had a bit of a go at it. So if they don't go through, I hope Xavi's going to be okay as a manager. I mean, you can't put this at his door, given the
circumstances of football club that's going on. I mean, it's been
Kessie was a midfield player as well from Milan, wasn't he? I think, but brilliant midfield player that's a good player. So they've thrown a little bit at it. Barcelona in the Europa League will be weird. Quite honestly, we'll see. They still got a chance.
Yeah, obviously a big club. I think one of the surprise results of the weekend as well was Maccabi Haifa 2, Juventus 0. More pressure on Max Allegri, Juventus manager, who was given I think they call it the dreaded vote of confidence by the owners that he will stay on at the football club, and they said they don't see that he'll make a change. But I think that was Maccabi Haifa's first win in the Champions League, if I'm not wrong. I think I heard that yesterday, that, fantastic 2-0 win, and the scenes there were incredible, as you can imagine, the mighty Juventus coming and falling. So we'll keep an eye on that one. I mean, remember, Antonio Conte's name was linked back to Juventus, wasn't it? And he said how disrespectful it is, and he's talked about his contract being up and whether he'll sign a long-term deal. So just keep an eye on those two, because they've had some success in the past.
Anytime you see a result like this, it's crazy, isn't it, for Juventus? I mean, the most successful team, I think, in Italian football. Max Allegri's done brilliant work there before. They've got him back again. Yeah, it's not going great. I wish there was more hours in a day, mate. Or we could regularly check out Juventus playing every week. Barcelona and Bayern Munich and Real Madrid and everybody else. Unfortunately, it's not enough. I can't give you any more insight into what's going on because we don't see it every week. All I know is that Maccabi Haifa 2, Juventus 0 with Max Allegri in charge is like
it's shockwave. Wow. That shocks. Yeah. One big shock, one of the biggest players in world football, Kylian Mbappe, reportedly wants to leave PSG in January. He made a statement ahead of the Champions League this week when he did manage to score a goal. But there's a lot of talk that he's unhappy with where he's playing. There's unhappy with his position. Maybe he's not top dog anymore, Rob. He signed this big, long contract last summer where apparently gave him all kinds of control and you know, he could have say in certain things in the football club. He's now kind of toys are out the pram, talking like he wants to go in January. Isn't this almost a mess that they've giving this young man too much power, Rob, in a football club, and it's an example of power going wrong?
Listen, let's quickly think of the greats, right? Because Kylian Mbappe's got the potential to be an absolute great, a world-class, best player in the world, Ballon d'Or winner, and maybe you'll get to some of those things. I look at absolute shining examples of brilliance, but with a mental clarity and a humbleness that means they were greats. Ronaldo, Messi, even from today's games, Lewandowski. So sometimes, if you're that great, the ones that have greatness for a long period of time, I'll give you an alternative that's very close to home for him. Have the hardware and the software to handle that brilliance and to show it most weeks through dedication, professionalism. Neymar is a player that we thought was going to be this guy, the next one of those, and he hasn't really, and he isn't going to, because of, in my opinion, just hasn't got that same dedication, will to win, die hard flipping mentality to go and do it. Is Mbappe, Robbie Earle, is he in danger of not fulfilling and becoming the player that he could by having this mentality of, like, you know, what are you doing for me? I want to play on the left-hand side. I don't want to be at the centre. I score more goals from the left-hand side. And Messi doesn't want to be in the middle either. He scores more goals playing wider area. We don't really have a number 9. Why has it got to be me? I can't remember many Messi, Ronaldo, or other legends that moan too much in the media.
But this feels to me like of the naughty child with the parents who kind of, he's okay, he's our, sometimes you got to tell a child, no, Rob, that's not right, what you're doing is wrong. It's like they're allowing him to do what he wants because he's such a talented player, because he could get such a high fee for him. But in a way, Rob, he's running the football club, and it's going on his personality. It goes on his mood swings. It goes on when things are going well for him, he's happy. When things aren't particularly going well for him, he's not. And that mental strength gets you nowhere. And part of that will make him a lesser player than he could be.
And it hurts his team. It hurts his team.
It hurts him, Rob. It hurts him.
Both. His team. What were his teammates thinking when he has this power? How are they thinking? Is he trying to get me out the side? Listen, I'll give a little analogy of a personal experience of mine. I've probably mentioned it on the show before, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating it. We had a star player come to our club, Fabrizio Ravanelli, and he was brilliant. But a lot of times he criticised his team, us. He criticised our defenders, and we had a brilliant team that year with some great players. We got relegated. Because the team spirit was pretty poor, given the animosity of some of my teammates with a guy that was a star player, and he was treated a little differently to everybody else, and it was not well received in the dressing room, and we struggled. We had some good cup runs, but we struggled in the league. Now, again, different times, different levels here, I get that. But what I'm saying is, Rob, one star player in your team, and everybody, you do get sucked into, oh my God, we're so lucky to have this guy. He's like so great. You do give in to him, and he has a lot of power given his prowess at the club, and we don't want to annoy him because we need him to score the goals, etc., etc. But ultimately, we weren't successful as a team with him in the side. Have you got anything similar?
I have to say, I couldn't fortunately, from the complete opposite. We never had a star.
Yeah.
We never had a star-struck player. We never had anyone who came in who could feel any worse. And so it was about the collective. And if it didn't work for the collective, individuals would get out of the way and not be part of it. So, the complete opposite. It's a shame, though, when you see somebody with the ability of Mbappe, the potential of Mbappe, and you just start to worry if it's all going to be realised in the manner that we want to see. You know, the Messis and the Ronaldos are not going to be here forever. And Erling Haaland has proved everything we've wanted him to be.
Great attitude, Rob.
And look how humble. And, you know, we see the shot. We're going on social media where everybody else is throwing their training top to the kit man, and he walks over and hands it to him as if.
Before we forget, mate, I know we're going to wrap up. It's come to light. Yesterday, I think it was, Rob, I read the big piece in The Athletic that Erling Haaland does have a release clause in his contract of £175 million, 200 million euros that can kick in for an overseas club.
Non-English club, isn't it?
Non-English club in 2024.
2 years.
2 years' time. So if a Real Madrid, right, feel 175 million is a kind of a good amount. It's a lot, but you know, that would be incredibly sad for Man City, for the Premier League. But it's there, and it's kind of it's been reported in The Athletic and a couple of the places. The only thing I think to add to that would be if he can be super happy at Man City, maybe he won't, because he can still veto that. He can still say...
he doesn't have to go, does he? He doesn't
have to go.
But there is talk that his dad has talked that he'll play in 4 or 5 of the major leagues in Europe, hasn't he? and maybe he's done Germany, he's done England now. Spain and Italy might be 2 more that he still thinks he's got to do. But obviously... Keep an eye out on that, and you know, obviously the teams will be circling. I'm sure those overseas teams, because what he's doing is something special. Yeah,
he'll have a chance to be a Real Madrid legend, possibly, Rob, and that's pretty tempting for any player. Sorry, mate.
Okay, mate, we're going to wrap up match week 4 in the Champions League. Man City already through to knockout stage. Things looking pretty good for Chelsea, Liverpool and Spurs as they look towards qualification. We're going to be back on Sunday, October the 16th. That's from the Philly Fan Fest, where me and Mr. Mustoe and the rest of the team will be down in Philadelphia. Looking forward to that one. And we might, all I can say is we might have a special guest. So make sure you download that one and see who might be joining us on that Sunday podcast. But for now, I'm Earle. He's Mustoe, together with the 2 Robbies. Thanks for watching and listening. Be safe, stay healthy. It's a good night from me.
And it's good night from him. Good night.
Good night.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. For even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock and be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend on USA Network and on Peacock. We will see you over there.